Homeworthy, I'm Morgan. Welcome to my family's home on the coast of North Carolina. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Morgan Hood. I'm the co-founder of Elliston House. Welcome to my family's beach home on the coast of North Carolina. This home is brand new. As of June of this year, we moved in, but there's so much history on this lot in particular. My family bought a home here that we tore down actually in 2021. We have been living on this lot since 1994, so I've grown up on this island. But this home that we are in now is new to our family, and it took a lot of labor of love. Multiple generations were involved, and we are just so thankful to be back in this lot that we call our second home. The vision for this home was just to be livable for multiple generations. I have two young kids. My brother is getting married next year, and the previous home that was on this lot, it didn't have multiple bedrooms for multiple generations. We needed an elevator to assist my growing parents. They always joke, who's gonna take the trash out? Who's gonna let the dog out? We're going down 3 flights of stairs. At the beach, we live on the 3rd floor. And so it was really important to have that elevator for years to come for my parents to use it. And then we also, again, just wanted an extra bedroom, a bunk room for grandchildren, just a home that would grow with our family as our family grows. I love everything about this home, but I would say two of my favorite things about this home, one being the sitting area. It's a funny room because it's painted coral, and my dad literally thought I lost my marbles when I told him I was going to paint a room high gloss pink, but it turned out so beautiful, and it is the room that faces the sunset, and so I knew I wanted to play off of that color palette. And I didn't want a pink room, I didn't want a red room, and I found the perfect shade of coral. So that's one of my favorite things about this home, is just sitting in that room, having a glass of champagne. Even in the morning, it's beautiful with a cup of coffee as the sun's rising over the ocean. And then my second favorite part of this home is the ground floor. We have these Adirondack chairs that look out onto the marsh with a strip of grass in front of it. My children love to play with the fiddler crabs in the sand and jump off the dock and dig for seashells. And it's just fun to sit there in the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, and just relax. And it's so quiet and peaceful, and my children love playing back there, so I love being in that environment with them. Welcome to our foyer. This little space here was a point of contention. We were all trying to decide whether we wanted to build a more formal entry or just leave it as a ground floor sort of hidden entry, which a lot of new homes are doing down here. They aren't building second floor walk-ups with formal front doors. However, I think it's old school, and I think it adds charm to a home. I feel like homes without front stairs just seem like you forgot something. So here we are in our formal entry. It's small but mighty and colorful, and we have incorporated elements from our previous home into this space. My dad was very adamant that we keep this console that was built by a Wilmington carpenter. So here it is. It actually feels like it was built for this space. It fits pretty perfectly. I incorporated a really fun and modern palette check mirror. And one of my most prized possessions, what I'm most proud of about this house, is the paint color I selected for the main areas of this home. My mother and I spent countless hours standing in the driveway in natural light, going in the shade, going in the sunlight, looking at all different types of paint colors like creamy whites, bright whites, gray whites. We landed on Sherwin-Williams Classic Light Buff, and it is perfect. I wanted a creamy paint color, my mom wanted a white paint color, and so we met in the middle, and I just think it is a perfect fit for this home and this space. And I also wanted to point out the shiplap walls. We did pretty thick boards, and we carried it from the ground floor entry all the way up to the 3rd floor where you enter into the formal living. And I love the effect that it has as you continue up the 4 flights of stairs. Welcome to the area that my children play in the most. It's right off of the kids' bunk room where we can pile in 20 kids under the age of 10. They sit here, they have a cabinet full of games, colors, board games, beads, anything you can think of, Legos, monster trucks. This is where my children live. As you can see, I have it set up for mahjong because as moms, we're always around our kids and it's important to watch them and make sure they aren't jumping off of the top bunk, if you will. So here's where the moms will play mahjong as our kids run around us. I did want to point out these chairs here. They are in Elliston House's Dover House blue fabric with a contrast navy welt. And this other fabric over here along this wall is part of our newest collection with artist Renee Bouchon. It is our Tula and Lapis, and it is a wonderful stripe pattern with floral detailing as well. So I love incorporating different motifs into one pattern, and this really gives you that. And this fabric matches these pooky lampshades here, these wall sconces. What I did is I can actually take this off and show y'all that I scaled down the pattern. So it's the same pattern, but there's no spacing between the repeat vertically. So I just tightened up the pattern, shrunk it down like 50%, and I created the perfect lampshade pattern. Come with me into our casual living area. We brought this Miles Talbot sectional from our previous beach home. It has a sleeper sofa in it. It is sunbrella fabric covered. It can be destroyed. It can be jumped on. It can be turned into a fort. It can be whatever my children want it to be. When we were here this past summer, we had like 7 kids on this sofa watching Frozen, eating pizza, and it was perfect. This is one of my favorite parts of the home. However, I think it's used the least. But it is a wonderful little nook to show off our Elliston House Folly wallpaper in fern, which I also designed for this beach house, and it is now in the line Perks of Having Your Own Textile Company. We have other Elliston House fabrics on this bench here. We have our Posy Verbena, which is fairly new for us. Dover House Blue again, which plays off of the game table chairs we just met and talked about. And then a newcomer for 2026. We haven't named her yet. Let me know if you have any names, but this is a new Elliston House fabric that is also in one of the bedrooms on this middle floor here. I love these wall sconces by Nikki Kehoe. They are in her color Ecru. I love the scallop detail. Anything scalloped, give it to me, gotta have it. And this photo here is very special. It is actually of Figure 8 Island. It's one of the first pieces of art my parents bought for our beach home back in the 90s. And it ties the blues, the greens, the creams all together in this space, and it's just very special to us. Here is a piece of furniture that we reused from our old home. I just took the cushions and recovered them. This is something that y'all could easily do in your own homes as well. You don't have to go out and buy new furniture. You can take what you have and recover it. This is our Posy Fern fabric. It is sunbrella. It is indestructible. It is perfect for the space with kids everywhere. And a vintage piece that I incorporated is this really cool sort of Palm Beachy Floridian coffee table from Cherish with a glass top. I love it, and I think it just grounds the space with this circular motif that it has, and the vintage elements really tie everything together so it doesn't feel so new. When we were designing these built-ins, I knew I wanted the perfect green that wasn't too hunter green, but wasn't too light green, and I found it in Coastal Plain. I love the bamboo gold pools here. We actually have a built-in refrigerator, which one day when my children are old enough to drink beverages that don't stain things, we'll fill it with lots of goodies. And I love the detailing behind this TV, behind these shelves. The beadboard really just draws your eye in, and I also love our visual comfort picture lights in antique brass. My personal style, I would call like British inspired. However, when decorating this home, I had to take into consideration my brother, whose style is, I would call like GQ modern, and my parents, who, as they have grown, their style has transitioned from like lots of antiques to now more clean lines, more transitional type of furniture. So blending all those different aesthetics was somewhat of a challenge, and meeting the needs of multiple stakeholders of this home was also difficult. However, I think we achieved a wonderful look. We have transitional pieces, we have a little bit of modern, we have a little bit of like my love for British and color and pattern, and it still feels coastal, not too stuffy, lived in and comfortable. Here we are in the bunk room. However, it wasn't always the bunk room. When we were working on the plans for this home, we went through multiple iterations of what the layout for this space would be. We have this really beautiful large window here, but it made for awkward bedding arrangements. We played with 3 twin beds along this wall. We played with a king bed along this wall. We knew we needed a space for kids, so we ultimately landed on these really great built-in bunks, which our builder did for us. I think that they just make this space super fun. However, be warned that when you do built-in bunk beds, the top bunks are not fun to make. I literally have to psych myself up, put on workout clothes, and act like I run a marathon to make these beds. So whenever my children sleep up here, I just tell them to sleep on top of the quilt, and I give them a blanket, and I call it a day. Another fun fact about this space is we have these built-in drawers for toys. Like, who knows what's in these? But they're really great for when my kids are here. They just throw all their stuff in there and I don't have to trip on it or step on it on the floor. I designed this rug with English Village Lane for this room. I love the oranges, the pinks, the blues. If you look at it next to the wallpaper, someone might say it doesn't really match. However, I think that it goes perfectly because it ties in the overall vibe, which is rust, orange, blues of any shade, a little bit of yellow. Again, you don't have to be matchy-matchy with your interior. If you like how it looks, I promise you, you will love it. This really fun retro chair here is from Cherish. I recovered it in our Cocoa Shop by Elliston House Blue Limes, which matches our wonderful wallpaper here. I knew I wanted to use this pattern and this colorway in particular when it came to this space. My parents really questioned it. My mom was like, it's too soft and girly and all over. This might be her favorite room in the house now that she's seen it live. She loves it. I really knew I wanted to tone down the space, and so here I have this amazing dresser by Modern History with brown and gold detailing and these just wooden knobs, which feel sort of retro and kind of pair with our chair here. These big lamps are from Anthropologie, and our wooden mirror here is also from Anthropologie. I think you can find anything from Anthropologie at pretty good prices. These ottomans here are from Green Row, which also is a love of mine. If you haven't heard of them, they're owned by Williams-Sonoma. They're a wonderful boutique consumer line, and you can find accessories, bedding, furniture, anything you need for your home. A funny story about this space. Literally the first day we moved into this house and my children were with me, I was explaining to them how you need to be very careful about climbing up to the top bunk. A few hours later, my 4-year-old falls off the bunk. I'm like, oh, great. We've got a broken arm. Luckily, she didn't break her arm, but I was just like, of all the things, why do we have to do what mommy just told us not to do? So she's not allowed on the top bunk, but my 6-year-old and all of his friends love camping out up there. They love sleeping up there. And that's just a funny story. Welcome to my bedroom, as I like to call it, or the green bedroom, or the floral wallpaper bedroom. This home serves multiple generations of people, and I knew that I would be here with a lot of my family members. And when my parents are here, they sleep on the top floor in the primary bedroom, and I knew that this would be where my husband and I would sleep. And so when designing this room, I designed it how I wanted it to be and how I wanted to live in here. And I picked this wonderful green trim paint color to match our Elliston House perennial sprout wallpaper, which has been a long-time favorite of mine. It's grass cloth, it's textured, it incorporates all the colors of the beach, the greens, the blues, the creams, and pairs wonderfully with our new Posy verbena on the drapes and the Roman shade. This paint color is called Koi Pond, and it is basically what I built and designed this fabric off of. We launched this colorway based off of this trim for this room, and it's now on the line. Again, perk of having a textile business. I love these Hudson Valley leather lamps. They are leather, and the shades have a really cool stitching detail on the seam. They feel super nautical and just are somewhat unexpected and make the space. I love a plaid fabric, and this Jane Shelton plaid works so wonderfully with our perennial sprout wallpaper. It has a great Sunbrella welt. It is from Highland House. This fully upholstered bed is just a wonderful addition to this space. I also have a love of Garnet Hill bedding, and so a lot of the bedding in this home you will find is from Garnet Hill. This duvet cover is from Garnet Hill, and again ties in the blues and the greens of our wallpaper. I would love to point out our nightstands, our varnish collection. If you know Elliston House, you probably know Varnish. The two sisters who own and started Varnish Collection are really good friends of ours, and I love everything they do. They have makers in India who make all of their rattan furniture pieces. They have such a vintage feel, but are new. And so I just love these nightstands in this space. Here we are in one of our guest bedrooms. This is actually where my brother sleeps, so I knew I wasn't gonna give him a floral grass cloth wallpaper. I was gonna keep it simple, but I actually added detail with the paint. So I love using paint to bring interest to a room. I use 2 different tones of like an aqua blue, and I love the effect that it gives this space. I knew I had to have this rug from English Village Lane. It ties in the soft sage greens and the blues and brings in some navy. The fabrics in this room are new Elliston House, launching in spring of 2026. So we don't have names of anything yet, but I will point them out to you. This is our new stripe, which I love so much. It's going to come in 3 or 4 colorways. It's a wonderful small scale and brings so much interest to a room. It matches our Roman shades with the Samuel & Sons tape on the bottom. This print in blues and greens is also new Elliston House. It'll come in maybe 2 or 3 other colorways, TBD. Don't have a name for it, but my son lovingly calls it the dinosaur print. Can't unsee it. This art here is from one of my favorite art dealers in the UK, Atelier is the name of it. It's all online. You can go and find vintage prints, new prints, lots of different pastels and oils. I love, love, love these fish in these antique bobbin frames with the painted trim, and I think they just really add so much interest to this space. This is also a new 2026 Elliston House pattern on this bench cushion here. It'll come in 2 or 3 colorways, but it's abstract, geometric, and fun, and I think it would be great on a sofa as drapery. It just is unique and different and something that Allie and I are very excited about. On our way to the middle floor of this beach home, I wanted to point out these sconces. The shades are covered in our Elliston House Della Dot Marine, which also is present in our upstairs living room. I love a pattern shade, as I've mentioned before, and I think they just add an element of fun and surprise as you're coming up and down the stairs, which we do often at a beach house. Here we are in our wet bar. And one of the things that I first pulled when I was designing this beach house is this incredible seashell wallpaper by John Darien. I have fallen in love with it, and it just, again, makes the space and ties the whole house together. My whole color scheme was basically built off of this wallpaper, and I can't get enough of it every time I see it. Some elements of this bar that I wanted to point out is here is a wonderful piece of art by Mary McGuire, and this special little piece of art means so much to me. My husband and I were actually married on this island. We had our first look on this lot, and my step aunt drew this for me and mailed it to me after our wedding on our anniversary, and it is a figure 8 island, which is where we are, and I will just forever cherish this piece of art. Again, this island means so much to me and my family, and we are so blessed to be here. Some glassware that I love, and I don't have anything super special, but I do love Anthropologie glassware, which anyone and everyone can get. These are amazing little wine cups, and I love these fun juice glasses. They come in lots of different motifs, so we have lobsters. They need to have crabs for this house. I would get like 8 crab glasses, but I found lobsters and fish. And we have lemons and limes and avocados. And here are our crab glasses. Welcome to our puzzle table. As you can see, I have been working on our seashell puzzle that matches our wet bar wallpaper. When we first moved into this house in June of this year, we had someone gift us this, which I love because, again, it matches our wet bar wallpaper. It is a very hard puzzle. It's taken me multiple days to just design and put together like 5 shelves. But I also wanted to point out these game table chairs here. They are from Elliston House, and they are in our new Elliston House by Renee Bouchon collection fabric called Kipsy. And I love this fabric because it feels unexpected, especially for Elliston House. But Renee does these wonderful like collage, abstract, modern works of art. And we scanned in her art digitally and developed patterns off of them. And this is what we came up with. It comes in one colorway and it just feels unexpected and fun. And now I would love for you to come with me into our formal living room. I say formal, it's not really that formal. We're at a beach house. It's casual and fun, and all the fabrics are performance. So you can get on here with your wet sneakers and your glass of wine. I love this chair here. These matching chairs are in Elliston House. Our pattern is Flora Cobalt, which pairs so wonderful with our Della Dot Marine here in these lumbar pillows, which also matches these stools. I have a thing for Highland House furniture, and everything you see here is from Highland House, except for this wicker table, which is mainly baskets, who I also love. This lampshade is Elliston House. It is from our Cocoa Shop collaboration, and it is our blue limes fabric, and it's pleated, and it's so precious and pairs wonderfully with these plaid pillows. And this brown coffee table just grounds the space, and it literally hides anything and everything, and my kids can stand on it and jump up and down, and it's perfect. My family would be sad if I didn't show y'all our crab. This handmade crab has been at this place on this island, on this lot for 30 years, and just represents all of our memories we've had down here. Again, this is called the Crab House, and so we have little crabs everywhere, but this guy has been with us for a long time. Here we are in our kitchen, and as you can see, we have incorporated some modern elements which make this upstairs space of this home feel fresh and new. And we have overlay cabinetry with modern panels, so there are no sort of details along the edges. We have these wonderful polished nickel knobs and hardware. And I particularly love that the island is stained wood, and how that flows with the flooring is beautiful. I love these bar stools by Dorman Designs. They're actually in Elliston House fabric, shocker, and trellis marine. And what I've done here is I have laminated them so my children cannot destroy them. Pro tip, always laminate your kitchen bar stool fabric. It will last you forever. You can wipe them clean. Your children can't destroy them. I love this custom vent hood we have here. It really ties in the tongue and groove that's throughout this house, in the foyer and on the ceiling in the primary bedroom. This wolf range was a hot topic debate amongst all the stakeholders of this home, but I'm so happy we did it. We separated our oven along this wall with our range here, and I think this was a great move. Probably the most important thing in this kitchen is I drove all over the state of North Carolina to find the perfect marble countertops, and my parents didn't really love the idea of marble. My brother could care less, but I knew I wanted Danby marble, and I searched high and low, and I finally found it in Raleigh, and I had our builder go pick it up and bring it back here to Wilmington, North Carolina to a fabricator, and it is the perfect marble for this space. It has so much movement and greens and blues, and it's really held up super well. It's honed with an eased edge, and I know people are scared of marble. My mom particularly was terrified of marble. But if you're gentle with it and you're not super uptight about it, it will be your favorite thing in your house. A lot of people do hanging pendants above their island. However, I did not want to block our views, and I knew when we get to the dining room that I had to have these lanterns from Hudson Valley over our dining table. And since these spaces are open and adjoining, I wanted a big flush mount that made a statement, and these visual comfort flush mounts in antique brass are huge and perfect and awesome, and I want them in my own primary residence. But I just think that they are fantastic and modern, but also have kind of an old world feel to them thanks to the finish. So we are here in our casual dining area. With my job, which is Elliston House, I've spent a lot of time over the last few years in Market Square in High Point, twice a year at High Point Market. And thanks to that, I've been able to walk by Hudson Valley Lighting every morning and every afternoon on our way in and out of High Point Market. And I saw these lanterns a few years ago, and I know exactly where they had to go, which was in this house above the dining table. And I'm obsessed with them. I think the color, which is like this creamy kind of Fair & Ball matchstick paint color, if you will, is just fantastic. And the arched glass at the top is beautiful. I love that you can still get inside and clean the glass. They just make this space. I love this table from Highland House. It feels casual, but not too farmhouse, not too modern. It's the perfect beach house dining table, and wouldn't be a beach house without pallet check. So I have these wonderful pallet check dining chairs and some umbrella, and the back is woven, and I love just the natural elements that come together at this dining table. And lastly, what really makes the space is this alligator by Mary McGuire, which was originally hanging hidden in our butler's pantry along a back wall, and no one saw it ever. And it's another High Point Market find. When I saw it, I knew I had to have it. We recently just moved it to this wall, and I just smile every time I walk past it. Tearing a house down and rebuilding a new house on the same lot comes with challenges. My family and I joke that we actually basically rebuilt the same house because we knew what we liked, we knew how we lived, we knew what we wanted. We just added a bedroom and an elevator and called it a day. So the floor plan of this house is very similar to the house we lived in for 30 years. The one thing that is different is that we added this triple slider because we knew we wanted our upstairs living space to feel like you could live inside and outside without having to constantly go through doorways. And what's really amazing about this is that all these two doors push all the way back to this third door. So you have double wide sliding door entry in and out. You can slide them this way, you can slide them that way. And it just makes this home live larger, live more coastal. You feel the breeze, which is why everyone lives on the third floor at the beach. It's because you get the breeze. There are no bugs. It's wonderful and relaxing. And we're just very thankful we all agreed to do this triple slider. Here we are on our back deck, which is where we all live. This deck was actually somewhat difficult to design for a large family. I have children. My parents are using this house. My brother is using this house. He's getting married next year. Hopefully they will have children. So we knew we needed outdoor seating for a lot of people. The unfortunate thing is that this deck isn't very deep. And so we could only really fit settee furniture as opposed to sofas. However, I think we achieved enough seating where you can pull in some stools for inside. We can all sit out here. We can watch the sunrise. We can watch the sunset. And it's just a very peaceful place to sit. I did want to point out that Elliston House did a collaboration with Sunbrella. And so we have indoor-outdoor performance fabrics that resist UV rays, that are stain-proof, spill-proof. You can blot anything up that's liquid. We have our Thornton Mist here in this pillow. And we have our Arlo multi-pillow, which is a fun, like geometric kind of retro feel. I love it. It's unexpected for Elliston House. I love the colors. We have guava. We have this wonderful citrine lime and soft blues. And now we're gonna head into our outdoor dining space, which is really where we spend most of our time. Most of our evenings are spent out here eating. It's wonderful for my young children to be out here spilling all their things and running around on the deck. We knew when we built this house, we wanted Ipe decking because at our previous home, there were so many splinters and so many nails, and we knew we were gonna spend the money to have this really nice flooring. And I'm telling you, it's like walking on butter. It's the best thing we've done. This dining area by Lexington Home Brands, we found locally at Furnitureland South off of Greensboro, in between Greensboro and High Point. And it has a really cute Umbrella fabric on the chairs here. We have my mom's old VH dishware on the table, some new napkins, some Anthropologie and Crate and Barrel glassware, and it's just awesome to sit out here and watch the children play in the water. What's really fun about this is we have a blue heron that lives on our cove, and my parents have called him Grumpy because he just squawks all the time. So in the mornings and the afternoons, Grumpy, oh, he's actually on our dock right now. He likes to stand on the dock, and he just like lives really in this area, and he's always flying around and yelling and squawking and making noise. And Grumpy's like our best friend that we didn't know we needed. I worked for my family's business, which is packaging distribution, for 9 years outside of college. I ran marketing, event planning, I helped with sales. And then after the birth of my second child, I kind of got this itch where, I want to do something for myself, something creative, something that I was passionate about. And I wouldn't say I was one of those kids growing up who always loved interiors and loved design and loved art and loved color. However, looking back, I realized that I was surrounded by all of that. My parents loved antiques from a young age. They kept a neat and tidy home. They cared about how their home felt and looked. My aunt on my dad's side was an interior designer, and my aunt on my mom's side worked in the fashion industry for 30 plus years in New York. And so I was surrounded by people who cared about homemaking and who cared about fashion and color. And I think that's kind of always been inside of me. And once I met my business partner, Allie Holderness, she really pushed me to take the leap to start this business. And I left my family's business, went into interior design, and worked for a designer for about 14, 15 months. And then Allie and I took the leap to start Elliston House. Here we are in the sitting room or the coffee room or the martini room, whatever you want to call it. But this is probably my favorite room in this house, and a lot of that has to do with the paint color. I spent a lot of time on this paint color. I didn't want it to be pink. I didn't want it to be red. I wanted it to be a room where my brother and my dad and my husband love to come in as much as my mom and I do. And so we use Constant Coral, I think it's the name, by Sherwin-Williams, and also incorporated a lot of new pieces as well as vintage pieces. So this series of birds here is from Cherish, and so I framed them in this wonderful burlwood frame bridge frame. These bunching coffee tables are also from Cherish. I have a love for Cherish. I love them because you can move them around. If you're sitting over here and you want a table to your left, you can slide one up. If you want to prop your feet up, you can put your feet on them. They're a wonderful addition to this room. At my feet here, which also I think makes this space, is a custom rug that I designed with English Village Lane. I handpicked and placed all of the colors of this rug, and it just ties the entire room together. This is a wonderful little side chair by Taylor King. I love this channel back here with the tufted buttons. I think it's unexpected and fun. And this chair has been a love of mine since I saw it at High Point Market when I first got into interior design about 4 years ago. It is from Highland House. Again, I love the channel back, the tufted. The fabric I picked is a wonderful cravat fabric, and this welt is a wonderful leather, like aqua blue. And a leather welt is just chef's kiss. And I would be remiss if I did not point out the Elliston House fabric in this room. This is a new colorway of our sparrow, and it's called sea salt, hence where we are, the salt air, the sea. I actually designed it for this space, and then we ended up putting it in the line. And so I love the colorway. I love the coral in it, which ties in wonderfully with the paint color. I love the green. I love the blue. I love the brown and the bird. It's just wonderful and coordinates with our Roman shade over here on these front windows. Continuing my love of wicker and rattan, we have this wonderful Arteriors floor lamp here and this Manly Baskets side table. And this custom piece of art by Lauren Kaczmarek. She's a Wilmington artist, so local, and she designed and painted this art for this space in particular. Another Elliston House pattern that is in this space is our Echo Mocha fabric. I love this pattern. It is a small scale geometric and can go literally anywhere. And I think the brown really just grounds this space and prevents it from being too girly or too feminine. And lastly, wanted to point out one of my favorite visual comfort table lamps right here in this green, which feels somewhat unexpected. You know, people think green and pink, kind of Christmassy colors, but I think the coral wall and this mid-tone green play so well together. And can't forget this brown Firmois shade from the Charlottesville Shade Shop. What really stands out in this bathroom to me, and what I knew I wanted to do from the beginning of the build of this home, was use our Dover sand wallpaper from Elliston House. And I actually customized the ground, so I added dots into the ground, which, if you're familiar with Elliston House, you will know that our Dover House Blue colorway has green dots in the ground, and this Dover sand does not, but I think we should add the dots into the Dover sand and keep it in the line because it's so good, and it just adds another interesting element to the already amazing kind of abstract wallpaper. I love this rattan mirror from Anthropologie. I think rattan in any room is like a must for me. It brings in such wonderful texture. Again, here I've mixed metals. I have a polished nickel faucet and a visual comfort light in antique gold. From our old house, which was on this lot, we brought in a lot of furniture and art, and these 3 pieces of art here were hanging in our previous home, and they work super well here, and I'm glad I have found a home for them. Did want to point out that when my parents bought a house on this island in 1994, my grandparents had a home on the north end of the island, and they had dubbed that home the Fish House because it was on the inlet and there was lots of fish, lots of fishing going on up there. And when my parents purchased this home, we have called it the Crab House. So you will see crab motifs throughout. There are tons of fiddler crabs off our dock. We love catching blue crabs and just playing with the crabs in the sand. And so here we have art of our crabs. And I love a open sink here. We had discussed covering it with a sink skirt, but I think having the exposed leg and under plumbing is beautiful. And lastly, I wanted to point out the applique towels from Wheezy Towels with our monogram on them. I love the blue, I love the pink and the tan and the green, and I think they just make this space feel homey. So I love buying art and anywhere I go. And I wanted to point out these 2 pieces of art. This piece of art here, the sailboats, actually came from the same antique store in Greensboro that I always go to, Carriage House. But when I bought it, I actually met the painter himself, and it turns out that he is the father of someone who goes to church with us. So that was lovely to meet him as I was buying his work of art. He was so thrilled. And then this top piece here I found at Round Top, Texas when I went the past few months with my business partner, Allie. I love a coastal scene. I love the antique frame. I love the hint of blue and red in there and orange. And I think these 2 pieces are super complementary and just make the space feel curated. Welcome to the primary bedroom. This is the bedroom on the top floor at this house, and it is actually a wonderful place to sleep with all the blues and the tans and the browns. It really pulls in the outside. You can see outside this sliding door here, and really just feels beachy and calm and safe and secure. And I love this bedroom. I want to point out some fun things with regards to Elliston House. So these 2 benches here are our new collection with artist Renee Bouchon, and this is the Marbella Sea fabric, which also matches the bolster on the bed. I love a plaid. This is a wonderful Schumacher plaid, and this stout stripe fabric on the shams. I love a fabric lampshade. These are Firmois from the Shade Shop in Charlottesville. Really just ties in this lovely ceramic Hudson Valley lamp. These Roman shades are actually all hardwired, and so they can all come down together. They can come down individually, and that was super important for this room because, as you can see, there are so many windows. The sun literally rises over here over the ocean, and so in the morning it's very bright. And we have Romans, and behind them we have rollers to help block out the sun. This painting here is a painting of 2 of my childhood best friends, myself and my brother, and this was done just behind us at the beach here by a family friend, and it actually came from the previous house that was on this lot from the primary bedroom and is now in this primary bedroom. And it ties in the colors of the entire home perfectly. Blues, a little bit of coral, a little bit of teal, some creams, and it's just a very special piece by Greensboro artist Denise Landy Dodge. Would love to talk about the ceiling. We have a shiplap ceiling here that just really elevates the space and makes the room feel larger. I also love it paired with the grass cloth. There's so much texture going on and just reminds me of the beach and the sand between my toes. Another thing I wanted to point out, our collaboration with Renee Bouchon on our Elliston House fabric here is really tied all together with the art above the bed. This is also by Renee Bouchon. Her florals are everything, and as you can see, we selected them for our textile collection with her, and they just tie the whole space together with the color and just to make everything feel super cohesive. Welcome to the primary bathroom. There are some elements I want to point out to y'all that are super special to us. As I mentioned previously, this home is for multiple generations, which means multiple different taste levels and interests. And the people who use this room the most are my parents, and they love clean lines, but I love antiques and natural elements. And so you can see a little combination of both of those different aesthetics here. The vanity is very fresh and new, and I love the reeded detail and the big brass knobs. And then where my taste comes in is we have a lot of antique elements here. So this table and this chair both came from an antique store in Greensboro, North Carolina, where my primary residence is. The antique store is called Carriage House, and I recovered this sweet bamboo chair in our Elliston House Flora putty fabric. And I recently went to High Point Market and found this wonderful antique Turkish rug. That's a runner for the bathroom. This bathroom actually feels very cold, and so I really wanted to bring in some warmth and ground the space from like echoes and things that were happening in the stairwell just behind our vanity here. And this runner really helps to do both of those things, prevent the sound from echoing and ground the space and add in warmth. I also wanted to point out another Elliston House fabric in here. This is our laurel putty with a wonderful fringe down the leading edge from Fringe Market. I love that tassel bell fringe. It's so chunky and just adds interest. I love Mary McGuire. You will see her art throughout this home, but these two ships in the round antique gold frame draw the eye up and really emphasize the tall ceilings. I also want to point out these wonderful custom mirrors by Foyer. These are painted in a custom Benjamin Moore paint color and bring some kind of femininity to the space that my dad still loves. And we also have our cafe curtain here and the matching laurel putty with our floor-to-ceiling drapes. I fell in love with this wallpaper by Nina Campbell, who is a British designer. It brings in all of the color palettes that we've used in the primary bedroom, which is adjacent to this primary bathroom. We have our taupes and our like aqua teal blue color. And I love a stripe. My parents love a stripe. It was a win-win. And so I just love that in this space. And I also wanted to point out, I know a lot of people, especially consumers, are scared to mix metals, but I have done that here and I think I've done it fairly successfully. We have our polished nickel fixtures here at the sink and our antique brass knobs, and they play really well together and are complementary. And so I think there are no rules. Have fun mixing metals, and if you love it, it'll work. Home means a place where I find people that I love, where people that I love find comfort, and we can sit down at the end of the day and just relax. Nothing that feels too uptight. I want a place where my kids feel safe and secure, and our family just thrives, and my husband loves coming home at the end of the day. Bye, Homeworthy. Thank you so much for joining me in our new beach home. I'm so grateful for you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. It is super sunny here in North Carolina, and it's time for me to go on a walk.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.